Hey, what's up? Last Layer King here. It is the end of 2019, so I'm going to make a recap video. This is basically the first year that I've been actually taking YouTube seriously. I made the channel in 2017, but then didn't really do anything with it until the end of 2018. So 2019 was really the first real year that I was on YouTube. So at this point, my main event was 3x3 blindfolded. At the start of 2019, I was using Turbo for edges, and I was learning 3-style for corners, so I was using a mix of Old Pachman and 3-style. I was still looking for my first ever sub-1 single, and I was also looking for my first official success. I competed in blind twice in 2018 and did not get a success. So first comp in 2019 was Frisco Liberty Cubing. That was in January. It had 2 rounds of blind, so first round of blind, I ended up DNFing the first 2 solves, so for the third solve I tried to take it a little bit slower, and I ended up getting a success, the time being 1:55, which was a little bit slower than what I averaged at the time, but I was completely happy with it. I was able to make it to the final, and then in the final, something similar happened. I DNF'd the first 2 solves again, and then the third solve, because it was the final, I kind of just YOLO'd it, and I got a success on that one. The time being 1:24, which got me 3rd place in the competition for blind. Also at that competition, I got my first ever official sub-10 solve with a 9.79, so that was pretty cool. So shortly after that competition, I continued to practice 3 blind, continued to learn 3-style comms, and I managed to get my first ever sub-1 single. The time was 59.49 seconds. And then most of January and February, I consistently was able to beat that PB. I got several sub-1 minute solves, and that definitely showed that I was becoming a lot faster. So my next competition was PBQ Frisco. It was basically a blindfolded competition, but it had a few other events. The competition didn't start out amazingly well. For multi-blind, I only got 5 out of 9, but I at least got a success. And then 5 blind, I triple DNF'd. But then for 4 blind, I ended up getting a success on my second attempt. It was a 13-minute solve, and that managed to get me second in 4x4 blindfolded for the comp. 3x3 blindfolded, I did really well. I got a couple good successes. I had a 1:20 in the first round and a 1:10 in the second round, but I came so close to getting a sub-1 minute solve. I DNF'd a 58.76. Despite doing so good in the blind events, my biggest achievement at PBQ Frisco was actually in one-handed. I managed to get a sub-20 average, my first ever, with the average being 18.80 seconds. That happened in the first round of one-handed, and then in the final round, something even more amazing happened. I started with like 2:17s or something, and then managed to just have amazing solves, and I got an 18.19 average, which was PR at the time and pretty close to overall PB. So that was super amazing. So next competition was a 3x3 Cube Frisco. That basically had all of the 3x3 events and nothing else, so I was able to compete in multi-blind and 3x3 blindfolded at that comp. At that comp, I managed to get my first official sub-1 minute 3x3 blindfolded solve, 58.04, not a DNF like the last competition. And then in multi-blind, I got a 9 out of 10 result, which got me first in the competition. So that was my first ever win. So for most of March and April, I was really just spamming 3 blind solves and really getting 3-style down. And something weird happened at the start of April. I had this really weird DNF. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe it was because I was being a bit too fast. But yeah, moving on to my next comp. My next comp was DFW with the twist, which was held in April, so I had about 6 or so weeks of practice for that since my last comp, and I definitely had a lot of improvement in blind. I was able to get multiple sub-1 minute solves. I think I got like a 58 and a 55, and then I also had a really good 3x3 average. I had an 11.45 3x3 average. That is my current PR. I have not beaten that since. And then that comp also had big blind, but unfortunately I DNF'd 4 blind and 5 blind at that comp. So my next comp was in May. It was Ready for Summer Frisco 2019. At that comp it had I think 2 rounds of blind, but I kind of didn't do too great. I got like a 57 in the first round, and then I kind of failed finals. I got like a 140 or something. But I did get an 11.85 3x3 average, so getting like sub 12 is always like really good for me. And then after that, it's about time to start practicing for some of the championships. I had the Southern Championship in June and Nationals in August. So the events I really wanted to get good at for Southern Championship and Nationals were 3x3 blindfolded, multi-blind, and 2x2. So I spent a lot of May focusing on 2x2. I was brushing up a lot on my EG algorithms because I kind of forgot a bunch of them. And I was also focusing on getting good at one-looking. I had Southern Championship, and I didn't really do that good in 2x2 at Southern Championship, but I ended up getting a really good blindfolded solve in the first round. I think it was like a 45, which got me into the final round. And in the final round, I got a 40.66 PR, which got me third place for the competition. In multi-blind, I ended up getting second place in the competition. Stanley got first, but because he wasn't from the Southern region, I was able to gain the title of Southern Champion with my second place result. I also competed in 4 and 5 blind at Southern Championship. I did a bit of practice for that, but unfortunately I triple DNF 4 blind and 5 blind. I came really close, especially on 5 blind. I only DNF'd by 3 centers. But after Southern Championships, I continued my practice for Nationals. At this point, I knew full 3 style for a while, but I started to realize I needed to optimize some of my comms because most of my comms were mainly intuitive. So I spent most of June focusing on 3x3 blindfolded. I went through basically all of my corner commutators, and then just instead of doing intuitive algs, I was looking at alg sheets that Graham and some other blinders had made, and was kind of changing my algs for cases that I didn't have good algs for. So the improved efficiency definitely helped me, and in June I also had a competition where I got first place in blind with like a 41-second solve. So that was a pretty nice result. I also started to get some sub-30 solves at home. I got like a 29.93 PB, and then I started getting some like 28s. So heading into July, after spending a lot of time optimizing my comms, I really needed to start implementing them and making sure I can get those down every time in every solve. So what I did is I really started drilling multi-blind. I would do 1 attempt every day for 30 days, and those were like the 30 days leading up to Nationals. So I ended up making a video on that, 30 days of multi-blind, and that definitely really improved my multi-blind. I was able to get to the point where I could do 16 cubes sub-hour. And during July, I also wanted to spend a lot of time just spamming 3 blind solves, but unfortunately I didn't have enough time to do that, so I kind of just had to wing it up for 3 blind. I had a competition right before Nationals, Dallas Warm-Up 2019. There wasn't any blind at that comp, so it was kind of annoying, but I did get a 5x5 overall PB single. It was like 1:33 seconds, which was like overall PB by like 11 seconds, which is like ridiculous. But then for Nationals, my practice definitely paid off. For multi-blind, I got a 15 out of 16 result in 57 minutes, which was an overall PB. And then the other main event I was practicing for was 3x3 blindfolded, and in the first round, I knew I needed to get about 40 seconds to make finals. First solve, DNF, 41 seconds. Second solve, I DNF that one too, 41 seconds. And then third solve, everything on the line. I need to get a success, it needs to be fast, and I got a 39.33 success to get me 12th in the round and put me in finals. And then in the final round, my first attempt was kind of slow, my memo was kind of bad, and then I ended up getting like a 108 on it or something like that. And then second solve happened to be like a world record scramble, but unfortunately my cube was misscrambled, and then my memo was bad on that one too, and I got like another 1 minute solve. And then third solve, I had a chance at a mean, the scramble was okay, but I ended up DNFing a 38-second solve by 2 corners. So that was kind of a disappointing result for 3 blind finals, but it's Nationals, like, if you're under pressure, things happen. But honestly, Nationals was a really amazing competition. I got to see a lot of fast cubers, got a lot of good footage, was able to make an amazing recap video of that competition. I think it's the second most viewed video on my channel at this time. So if you haven't watched it already, go check that out. After Nationals, I sort of shifted my focus a bit away from 3 blind. There was a competition in October that had already been announced, 345 Cube Day, and that had 3 attempts of multi-blind. So I figured, because state record is 23 points, and I can already do 16 cubes, I could try to just spam multi-blind and just get really fast, and maybe I could get a really good result and maybe get state record at that comp. So I spent a lot of September and August really drilling multi-blind, and I also started taking up another event seriously, that being 4x4 blindfolded, but I did that one a lot more low-key. So I started just like practicing 4 blind, not even like recording my solves, not telling anyone that I was practicing 4 blind. I think at that point I was averaging like 8 or 9 minutes at the time. So what I wanted to do was get really good at 4 blind and then surprise everyone with a really good result at 3-4-5 cube day. I also spent a lot of time optimizing my comms for centers for 4 blind. I was mainly just doing intuitive stuff, but I kind of started taking a similar approach to what I did at Nationals when I was optimizing my corner comms. I was looking at comm sheets, like grams being basically the main one I looked at. I ended up getting to the point where I was averaging like under 6 minutes or so by October. I also had a competition in like at the end of August. I believe it was called like Back to School DFW 2019 or something like that. I didn't really have any spectacular results. I didn't really do good, I didn't really do bad. Nothing interesting really happened at that comp, and I kind of lost my PR streak. I kind of didn't do great in blind either. I got like a 44 in finals, which wasn't really that good for me. But I continued to focus on multi-blind and 4 blind. So at 3-4-5 cube day, first attempt of multi-blind, I got to the point where I could do 23 cubes sub-hour, which I would kind of need 23 of 23 to get state record, so I knew I had a shot at it, and first attempt, it felt like it was going good, but I got only 21 out of 23, but that was still PR and very close to overall PB. And then second attempt, I went for 25 because if I do 25, then I can take 1 DNF. But I knew I'd have to be like really fast, and I kind of like rushed memo and then forgot a whole bunch of cubes, and then randomly DNF'd a whole bunch of other cubes and got a 6 out of 25 result, which is a DNF. So for the third attempt, I went back to 23 cubes and only got 17 of them. Also, at 3-4-5 cube day, Graham got the multi-blind world record, so that was like really exciting to watch. But now let's talk about 4 blind, because in 4 blind, that was the one event that I kind of wanted to just get a really good result in. I started with 2 DNFs, so that was kind of annoying. So third solve, I ended up getting like a nice scramble. My memo was amazing, and then I ended up getting a 4-minute 30-second success. Unfortunately though, I accidentally deleted the footage, so posting like some 4-minute 30 solve on YouTube and surprising everyone kind of didn't happen. But like I'm still really happy with the result. It put me in the top 150 in the world in 4 blind. Also, in 3 blind I had some really good results. I got a 32-second solve in the first round, got a 30 in the second round, but then in the final I managed to get a 28.71, which was my first official sub 30. That wasn't even a solve where I expected it to be sub 30. It felt like maybe like a 32 or something. And then I finished the solve, look at the time, and it says 28, and I'm like, what the heck? So after 3-4-5 cube day, I kind of took a bit of a break from multi-blind because there were no like upcoming comps that had multi-blind. So I started practicing Square One, actually. I figured like Square One's a mainly algorithmic event, and I'm pretty good at learning algorithms, so I figured like I could learn Square One, maybe at some point start learning PBL or something. I ended up like kind of quitting Square One after a month though. I just kind of wasn't enjoying it and wasn't getting like good times at all. So I continued practicing 4 blind, and I spent the time to optimize my comms for wings so that I could pretty much just use fully optimal comms for my entire 4 blind solve. And in doing so, I was able to really improve my times. I was able to start getting some sub 5-minute solves and even some sub 4 solves. I got, I believe, a 3-minute 40-second PB around the end of October. My next competition was Fort Worth Fall Fiesta. That was around the start of November. So at that comp, I was kind of wanting to get another sub 30-second solve in 3 blind. I ended up not getting one, but I was super consistent in 3 blind. I was getting like a lot of low 30s. I think my slowest solve was like a 37-second DNF. But like I was just super consistent. My speed was on point. I think I got like 3 successes out of 6 in total, so decent success rate. Now toward the end of November and the start of December, my biggest goal was to get a sub 30 mean. I had been just starting to get like a lot of PB means, and they would be like right around 30 seconds. I was getting like 31s, but I ended up having like so many sub 30 mean fails. I'll get like 2 really good solves, like a 28 and a 26 or something, and then just like fail the third solve. I literally got to the point where I was just starting to just record all of my solves just so that I could maybe make a whole compilation video of just like sub 30 mean fails, because it just started getting ridiculous. I was averaging like 33 at the time, so like a sub 30 mean shouldn't even be that hard. And on the times that I actually did get the mean, I managed to just like miss it barely. I think I was getting a lot of 30.5 means, 30.3s, 30.7s. I got like a 30.06 once. And there was a one PB mean. I actually got a 22.71 second single, but I totally messed up the last alg and it should have been a 20. And then I go on to like get like a 32 and a 36 and manage to get a 30.41 mean, which isn't sub 30 only because I screwed up on the 22. But finally, around the middle of December, I was able to just put it together and pull off a sub 30 mean, getting a 28.66, getting sub 30 by more than a second. And once I did that, the sub 30 means just started rolling in. I got like a 28.86 not too long after that. I was getting a lot of 29 means. So in the weeks leading up to my last competition of 2019, I really got back into practicing multi-blind because I wanted to go for state record. I would have 2 attempts at that competition. So I was practicing 25 cubes, trying to get that sub-hour. I eventually did. I was able to get a 23 out of 25 in 58 minutes and 33 seconds, which was an overall PB. And once I did that, I started going for 27 cubes, because I figured 27 would be a good number to attempt at the competition, because if I can do 27, then I only need 25 for state record, and that's just over a 90% success rate, which I knew I was capable of doing. However, when I started attempting 27 cubes, things started to go wrong. I think I might have been rushing the attempts too much, trying to get sub-hour, because in basically every attempt I did, I would forget multiple cubes and then just DNF a lot of the cubes. I just did not get any good results during practice, so I kind of took a break for a little bit. I came back and then got a 25 out of 27, which was like amazing. Unfortunately though, on later attempts in practice, my multi-blind trouble started to come back and I went back to just forgetting cubes, and it seemed even worse because I wasn't even able to get 20 cubes solved. So going into Dallas Cube-Miss, I decided to only attempt 25 cubes instead of 27, figuring that I would have less time pressure, and because 25 would be much easier to do in under the hour than 27. But unfortunately, on the first attempt of multi-blind, I only got 14 out of 25, and then on the second attempt, I got 15 out of 25, so not a good result, didn't even podium. But I did get a good result in 5x5 blindfolded. I got a success in 19 minutes and 37 seconds. However, I forgot to press the record button on my phone, so I have no footage of that. However, my biggest accomplishment at Dallas Cube-Miss 2019 was in 3x3 blindfolded. After 2 rounds of mediocre results, I went to the final, and on the first solve in the final, I got a 25.94, which was my second ever official sub 30, and it was just a fantastic solve. It was 9 algorithms, so less than 3 seconds per algorithm. So that was a great way to finish off my last competition in 2019. I've almost gotten to the point where I'm averaging sub 30 globally in practice. So I'm looking forward to crossing that 30-second barrier, and that's going to happen next year. So I know this has been a long video. Kudos to those of you who watched the entire thing to the very end. Tomorrow I will be uploading a video about my goals and plans for 2020. So I'll see you there, and I will catch you next year.